Okay, so how does this work? We start with this thing. That is 3 on the G string, empty D string, then 2 and 3, and then you can either do this, 5 and 5, or you can do 10 on the D string and the empty G string. Same notes, and this is easier, so maybe do that, and then 7 and 8. So we got 3, 2 and 3, 0 and 10, 7 and 8. There you go. And then another time. But then another open D string. Right? Yeah. Okay. And then is where the fun begins. The main riff, right? Now there's two ways of looking at this. You either start with this thing, then you'd go. Or you look at this as the last part of the measure before, which kind of makes more sense. So you'd go. Either way, what you're gonna do is empty D string, then hammer on 10 and hammer on 12. That is that little tuplet. And then 10 on the G string, empty D, and 9 on the G string, empty D. So that's right. Then you do the same thing again, but you add a 12 on the G string and an empty D string. So we got 10, 9, 10, 9, 12. And that's now you can either you can stress it two different ways. Either you start the same thing over, like that's kind of more natural, or you just count it through as if it were 4/4, and the stress would vary. Then it would be like. But either way, that's the riff. And what you play then in the verse is slightly different. So you begin with the same thing, and the second time around you play this. So you just changed the high notes on the G string. Before you played, and now you play. So instead of 10, 9, 10, 9, 12, you do 9, 7, 9, 7, 10, or alternatively 9, 12, 9, 12, 10. So both of those together would be. That's basically the verse riff. You then play this about 100,000 times, and then the part where the guitar starts playing the riff as well, you do a little trick on the bass. What you do is, instead of doing this, you play the first bit like normal, but on the second bit you play, hang on, so you do as usual, right, and 9 as usual, and then now you would normally play the empty D string again, but instead you play the 7 again, slide it up to 10. So normally we got, but this time we got, then you start over. What you do then is you play only this part instead of adding this part. So the song begins with this, and then you play this for a pretty long time. Until the verse starts. And this is, I know the pieces fit as I watch them fall away. Then, like I just did, you play this, and then this, right? Until a part that sounds about like this. You have to listen to the song for that. That's the part where you play this. And then you play this again. Without alternating to this. So that's basically first 2, if you will. And then comes the I look at this as the chorus of the song, even though it isn't really a chorus. In this tab they call it the interlude, and it's this part. So, right before that we were playing this thing. And we do what we did here. We do again, but like 1 step higher. So we do, and then so it goes. And then comes this interlude part. The riff is basically the same, just 1 string lower. So instead of doing this, you do this. With 1 small difference, there is 1 note that is just twice as long. It's the 4th note of the riff, basically. So it's this one. So instead of going, you leave this standing for another 8th. So you go. Right? So that is the thing that I call chorus, they call it interlude, and then comes the next verse.